Auf Wiedersehen. Guten Tag. Alles gut? I know when I speak German, I sound like a gay Chinese man. But listen, that's not the point. The point is, I'm out here in Hamburg, Germany for UFC Fight Night. I don't know which number it is, but I'm out here chilling with my man, Mark DeCasey. I don't even know if I say that right, but I'm in Hamburg, Germany, UFC Fight Night, and we gonna talk today. Well, I'm gonna be doing all the talking. Ain't really much to talk about this week in MMA because, last week was the big card. Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier cementing himself as the GOAT. The whole Brock Lesnar thing was going on. But this week, it's not really much to talk about. But there is something that I do want to discuss that happened this week, and that was Darren Till and Tyron Woodley going at it on Instagram and Twitter, so whatever it was on Twitter, because that's something to discuss. And let me explain something to you guys. Like, if you're a fan, like, what is that? I thought that was a rat. So, I'm losing my light here. But let me explain something to you guys. As a fan, you cannot be fooled all the time by what you hear from the fighters. And oftentimes, like, we want to believe the fighters and believe that, like, this guy's afraid of that guy and that guy's afraid of... Let me tell you something. No fighter is truly afraid of another one, especially at that level. Some fights might make sense more for other guys than they do others, but ain't no fighter afraid of another fighter at that level. And I know you might not be able to relate to this as easily, so let me put it in terms that maybe some of y'all can relate to. Let's say you are a chef and you went to school to be a chef, and you've been working as a chef for a couple of years, and you think that you're a good chef, and so you should be working at a fancy high-class restaurant. Now let's say I don't know, you out of work, you don't have a job right now, you putting in job applications. All right, so you going to the fanciest places trying to get a job. Let's say a buddy comes up to you and says, hey, McDonald's is hiring. Are you going to take that job? No, that job doesn't make sense for you. So you might not want to take that. It doesn't mean that you're afraid to work at McDonald's. It just means it don't make sense for you to work at McDonald's if you feel that another job's going to pay you more, be more beneficial to your career, and be just a better working environment. So, and the same thing goes for fighters. That may be quite of a stretch of an example, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Like, some fights don't make sense for some fighters at some time. So, but what fighters do to incite the fans and to make it more interesting, what they like to do is they like to go, oh, he turned down that fight against me. And what happens is, the fans and the media look at that and go, oh, he must be afraid. But that's not really the case. It just may not make sense for that person at that time. And we like to think, oh, well, if you're a fighter, you should fight anybody, anytime. Well, damn, if you a cook anywhere, anytime. It don't make sense. Same thing with fighters. So with let's get back to the whole Darren Till, Tyron Woodley thing. Colby Covington for the last year has been, heckling, so to speak, Tyron Woodley, calling him out to a fight. And he put himself in a position to get that fight. So that's the fight that Tyron was looking forward to. Now Darren Till, for whatever reason, Colby Covington can't fight. I don't know, maybe he's injured. Who knows? Maybe I don't know. I mean, obviously he wants to fight or he wouldn't have been barking for a year. But for some reason, he doesn't want to fight in September. Who knows? He could be, maybe he's getting, I don't know, he's getting married. Who knows? But Darren Till now says, I want to step up and fight. However, 2 months ago in Liverpool, Darren Till said he didn't deserve a title shot. He didn't even make weight. Now, all of a sudden, he calls out Tyron Woodley, and we expect Tyron Woodley to just jump out of his seat and go, well, come on, let's do this. I'm not saying that it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do, but I don't think Darren Till is in a position to sit there and go, oh, man, he's turning down fights against me. You're not really in a position to do that because your last fight wasn't even at welterweight. At the end of the day, like, your fight wasn't at welterweight. Your fight was at middleweight because the middleweight limit is 185 from 171 to 185. And that was the weight you weighed in at. Now, whether they had stipulations or whether, you had to weigh a certain amount the next day, that's irrelevant because at the end of the day, the weight class for middleweight is between 171 and 185. And that's what you were at when you weighed in on the weigh-in day. So you're not really in a position to call people out. Anyway, so that's my whole take on the Darren Till, Tyron Woodley thing. And I'm not just saying that because Tyron's my man and, we train together, but I'm just saying, Darren Till's not really in a position to call people out and to have the fans assume that Tyron is turning a fight down with him, because at the end of the day, like, I haven't talked to Tyron. He didn't even say he was offered to fight. And that's what happens sometimes too. Sometimes these guys come out and go, oh man, this guy's afraid to fight me. He turned down a fight. And that guy wasn't even offered a fight. He never got the call. So, as a fan, don't believe everything you hear, no matter whose mouth it's coming from. Don't believe everything you hear. Oh my God, I'm totally losing my light, and I apologize. I'm looking black than a mug right now, looking like Wesley Snipes. Listen, all right, so check it out. Last night, I got a chance to watch the PFL. I have been a part of the PFL coaching Will Brooks. I'm still working with him, but listen. So I got a chance to watch that last night, and I have to say I'm impressed with the format that they're using to determine who the best is. And I think with the format, it relieves the fighters of the obligation to sell themselves out. I'm not going to say sell themselves, but I'm going to say sell themselves out, because I think that's what happens with fighters these days is that they're not selling themselves. They're selling themselves out, because now they're creating these characters that are not really them. So essentially they're selling themselves out. Now the goal is to sell yourself, and you can do that regardless of the format that you fight. But I think with the PFL, it's totally performance based, and it gives fighters the opportunity to advance based on their performance. And I love that, because now they don't have to sell themselves out in order to create this character. So I got a chance to watch that last night, and I love the format. I love the point system. I love the fact that they have these playoffs. Obviously, the guys are going to make a good living. So I have to say that I'm impressed with that organization and what they're doing, and I'm hoping that, guys can continue to make a living fighting, no matter what organization you're in, because I think with the PFL, it's a great organization for fighters that, that are trying to make a name for themselves. And it just goes to show that, there are career opportunities for everybody in this game, whether it's a fighter or whatever you want to do. Like Yves Edwards is one of the commentators. I got a chance to listen to him last night. He sounds terrific. And I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on that. But, shout out to the PFL. You're doing your thing. I was impressed with what you did last night. Damn. There's a lot of bugs out this mug. I don't even know why I'm doing this outside. I'm trying to do it outside so that I can show y'all that I'm in Hamburg and I'm outside. But it's so many damn bugs out here, so I'm about to get up out of here. Anyway, listen. Check it out. So let me just talk about these fights real quick, and then I'm going to get up out you guys' hair. Y'all can go on about your day. We got Shogun versus Anthony Smith. That is, wow. The thing is, Anthony Smith has a lot more experience than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got he's got over 40 fights, actually. That's a lot of fights. He might got more fights than Shogun. Obviously not at the level, and even though he has that many fights, not the high level experience that Shogun has, but I think he's younger and a little bit more hungry at this point. I have to give him the advantage. I mean, we've seen him on a roll recently. I mean, he knocked out he stopped Hector Lombard, and we seen him on a roll lately. And Shogun, as sad as it is to say, even though he was just inducted into the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago with his fight with Dan Henderson, you gotta say, listen, he's an old dog, man, and old dogs, they get old quick, and sometimes they lose their speed and and their reflexes. It's gonna be hard for him to overcome that. I don't want to count him out, but I'm gonna have to give the edge to Anthony Smith in this fight. I think this is a good opportunity for him to show what he's made of at the middleweight division. But so I see him getting past Shogun. I'm not sure how, but like I said, I think Shogun may have seen his better days. All right, y'all. Well, that's my time for today. I don't got nothing else to say. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to. So, listen, I'm going to catch y'all next week. Stay up. I promise you. Okay, I'm not going to promise you no more, but I'm going to do my best to conclude that interview that I had with Conan Silveira. If I don't, that ain't my problem. No, if I don't, then I'll try to get one with somebody else. So so I can give you guys a look into somebody else's life other than the nonsense that I spew week after week. So, all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace out.